Hi there, YouTubers. Today I'm at one of my favorite places, the Artist and Craftsman Workshop. So this is the makerspace here in downtown Topeka. And today I'm going to play with my favorite tool in the shop, the laser cutter. Ooh. And I'm going to show you just one way that a graphic designer with skill and talent, such as yourself, can make a little money as a side hustle using Adobe products or free graphic design software and a monthly membership to your local makerspace. So let's get started. So just to get started, what materials are we going to need? We're going to need a computer. We'll be using that one. We're going to need a laser cutter. We're going to need the air system. This one happens to be set up with an industrial oven hood, as well as a compressor and a couple other things. And then we need materials. So I'm using 1/8 inch Baltic birch plywood. This is a 12-inch square sheet. This costs less than a couple dollars at a woodcraft store. You can find similar at any big box store. You may just have to cut it down from whatever size you find. So that is what we're working with. Really nothing fancy in terms of materials, something very fancy in terms of equipment. But here in Topeka, I have a membership to this makerspace that is very reasonable monthly. And I would have to be a member here for something like 30 years for it to even equal the cost of this magnificent laser cutter, not to mention any of the wild equipment out there in the other rooms. So it's a bargain. Again, Baltic birch, 1/8 inch thick, 12-inch square. That's what we're working with. So here is one of the pieces of artwork that I'm going to try and etch onto that board today. And the first thing I want to do is set up my artboard. So the whole outside of the piece here, I want that whole shape to be basically the same size as the board. And the board is actually about 11 3/4. So I've set that up using my Edit Artboard tool. I've made it that size. So I still need to focus the machine, and I'm going to use this focusing tool to get it just right. This will help me focus the laser to get it exactly right on the right spot on that board, so we're etching just perfectly on the surface. So on the machine, I'm hitting the focus button, so that brings it out a little further, and then I'm just going to move it up and down until that piece touches. There we go. I think we are focused. So I'm going to take that off. I'm going to close the lid, and we're going to exit out of that, and then we're going to run the print job. My favorite part about using this Epilogue laser cutter is that I literally just click print and it sends it to the machine. It's not complicated. And in this shop, it's just right over here. If you've done everything right so far, first step, it'll say, job 1, and then that'll be your file. All I have to do now is hit the green go button. So let's hit it and see what happens. We've got action. So this thing is super fast. I even turned down the speed, but it works very quickly, and that can reveal your mistakes very quickly or give you a finished piece really quickly. So, my piece just finished. It took about 11 minutes and I'm really happy with it. If you can see, it really cut into the wood and gave it a nice dark burn. Now, there is kind of a little blur, and that happens especially with plywood. The glue in the wood burns a little differently than the wood, and so you can end up with kind of some blur on your design. But basically, that is how we went from computer design to real life. And so why am I telling you about this? Obviously you can't just sell like a board with a design on it. I mean, maybe you could. But there's a really practical application for using a laser cutter to etch a design like this. And so that's what I want to point out and point out opportunity for you. So here's Etsy, and here is an example of all of the custom cutting board options that are out there. And just taking a quick look, it looks like prices range from $25 up to $60 or so. So there's kind of a range, and you get a different look, different quality, probably different wood. But some of these stores, like this one I'm reading, has 7,000 sales and ratings. This one has 4,000. This one has 957. Oh gosh, they're only getting started. So there is clearly opportunity and demand out there for custom cutting boards. And now I've just shown you how to do it. So I showed you that you could sell custom cutting boards. I showed you that you could etch a design onto a board, but you can't just go buy a cutting board at a big box store. You can, however, find tons on the internet. Quick look at Google Shopping here shows that there are all sorts of options. This is a case of 24 for $24 from the Dollar Tree. So if you just want to make some cheap bamboo boards for your friends to try this out and test it, that's an awesome option. I do want to point out, though, that if you're cutting into the board, you're cutting through any finish that the board might have, and so you need to think about that, and you really need to get some butcher block oil. Now, this stuff right here, you can usually find at any hardware store. It's great for finishing wood that you're going to use in the kitchen. Buy some of that, it'll last you a good long time. You can do a bunch of cutting boards with it. You can also do like your wooden spoons and spatulas that you probably already have in your kitchen. So it's Howard brand Butcher Block conditioner. There are probably other brands and probably other manufacturers, but that's the one I see everywhere. So that's really all you need. You need cutting boards, access to a laser cutter, whatever design tools you use, and you as a graphic designer can open an Etsy store doing custom cutting boards and start making money today.